Welcome. So in this lesson, we're going to be going through relations, domain, and range. Let's begin by reading through some definitions. An ordered pair, denoted xy, is a pair of elements x and y in which x is considered to be the first coordinate and y the second coordinate. A relation is a set of ordered pairs. For example, here's the relation S, and as you can see, it's just a set of ordered pairs. We have 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. Now, an important thing that we have to recognize here is the domain and the range. Now, the domain of this relation is the set of values x may have. So the domain is simply all of your x values. So if you were asked to write down what the domain of S is going to be, you're simply just going to say, well, it's 1, 3, and 5. 1, 3, and 5. They are my possible x values. Then, the next thing that we're going to do is learn about the range. This is the set of values y may have. So in this case, it's just going to be all my y values. So 1, 2, 4, and 6. So the range of S is simply all of your y values. So 1, 2, 4, and 6, 1, 2, 4, and 6, just like that. Let's now move on and read this. In order to define a relation fully, both the rule and the domain need to be specified. For example, here we're given a rule with a specified domain. So the rule in this case is y is equal to x plus 1. That's the rule. And the domain is -3 to 1. So let's just label these so we know which is which. This is my rule, and this is my domain. So the rule and the domain are going to work together now. And what we could do is we could create a set of ordered pairs from this information. So my domain is telling me where all my possible x values exists. Well, it starts at -3. So if I sub -3 into this rule, I can create my first ordered pair. -3 plus 1 is -2. That's where I'm starting from. And we can visualize this on our graph here. This is where it's starting from -3. And then we're going to keep on going. The next thing I'm going to do is sub in my next value, which would be -2. So if I sub -2 into this, -2 plus 1 is going to be -1. And then I would get my next number. So it'd be like somewhere here, wouldn't it? And I could keep on doing this all the way until I get to the end of my domain, which would be 1 here. So I would sub 1 into this rule. 1 plus 1 is 2. And then I would come over here and say, well, here's 1. And there's 2 up there. And there is that point right there. And of course, we're not just concerned with the integers, are we? We could sub any number between -3 and 1. So it's not just the integers, it's any number between -3 and 1 there. So think of your decimals that you could plug in. And once we do all that, we of course create a straight line. Now let's examine this graph a bit more here. And I might just tidy it up a little bit. Let's put the numbers underneath. This is -3. This is 1. What I want you to notice here is that this right here is my domain from -3 to 1. From -3 to 1. So my domain is this. And then how can we visualize the range? Well, let me grab a green. Do you see here, I go up to 2, and I go all the way down to, if I come here, -2. Because I'm just taking that value and that value. So 2 to -2 there. This is my range. My range is my y values that I get out. So now we could formalize this and write it down. My domain is -3 to 1 because I'm starting at -3 and it's all the way to 1. And hopefully you can see that there. These are all my x values that I'm subbing in to get in some outputs. Then you have the range, and the range is -2 to 2. And do you see I've got -2 all the way down, 2 all the way down to -2 here. And that's the height, if you want, of my graph. So hopefully that helps you visualize what's going on there and how exactly we're dealing with the domain and range. We're going to go through a bunch more examples. So if you're a bit shaky at the moment, that's fine. We're going to go through a few more examples, but hopefully this gives you a good idea of what we're going to be doing in this lesson. I'll see you in the next part.